normal teams. For Gen.G, what he should have had was 10-minute guaranteed Drake, 15-minute guaranteed third Drake, 20-minute Drake if the game, like the flowchart's like if game is still going.
Yeah.
Soul. And then like Elder coming after that, it just has an X over it, says not needed. Because Gen.G, their objective control is insane. They snowball games, and their macro that comes with it is just so crisp that it's hard to punish them. It's hard to find those angles outside of the early game where Keen played a little bit greedy. He died twice. That was it. That was all KT could get.
Yeah.
We're going to see the Azir banned again, the Pantheon banned again. That makes sense. Vi and Kalista one more time. There's the Gwen. The bans aren't changing. It doesn't look like here Valdez.
Yeah,
Poppy was the last ban last time.
If you're on the same side and you're playing Gen.G and you ban this the first time, you probably put a lot of thought into what your bans are going to be from the blue side, and you shouldn't change them. Like, are you going to leave King Gwen? No. Are you ever going to give Chovy Azir ever again? I don't know if any team will ever do that. Now, we do have a difference here.
Yeah, well,
Leah was banned.
I think maybe, yeah, this you could have gone for first pick Poppy, which is flexible, but I don't like it as much as just going for the Rise with all these mid laners gone. Ahri, Azir, Yone, and now the Talia. So felt like a nice Rise angle there. See if this ends up being globally impactful here for KT Rolster, as didn't expect the Sejuani here. The Jace is kind of not a shocker to anyone. It's a really strong pick right now. Keen has a great amount of success with it. Sejuani, though, a little bit different. I wonder what this means for what Chovy has planned, and if Ruler wants to pull out an old favorite in the Ashe, which has a ton of synergy. The Trundle is why we're a little bit surprised to see the Sejuani blind, because it's one of the better picks into it.
Yeah.
And now they can go Scion here as well, because there's no Trundle on the other side. So KT, I think, a masterful set of picks here in this first rotation.
Yeah, I mean, the Sejuani by herself is strong, and it's a Canyon pick, but just picking a blind with Trundle still available in this meta, you can get caught out by that for sure. We'll see if that actually happens. That's another question.
Remember
they were
earlier
thinking about the Victor, but instead it's just Corki.
Remember earlier I said Corki was the next one on the tier list, except when it's Chovy, he puts it a little bit higher.
Yeah. Speaking of which.
Yeah, that ended up coming true here. Although he normally does put the Victor still higher, but in this draft, wants a little bit of extra safety. Corki's good into Trundle because he can kind of deal with the pillar with his Valkyrie pretty well, and a little bit less vulnerable than Victor. If Victor gets pillared in a weird moment, he just has to flash.
Yeah.
Corki might, depending on when the pillar is placed, but it's a lot safer just in general. The Senna with a scaling composition like what KT have already put together here is pretty scary. I think that's a pretty reasonable ban here for Gen.G. Alistar has been banned in this spot for all time, so
it's really burned into our monitors.
Yeah.
Everybody knows, and everybody knows why. It's just the way it is.
Braum is an interesting one here, because I thought, even though they did go for the Sejuani jungle, there was still a potential Lucian angle here into KT Rolster's comp.
Yeah. Well, it's stronger on blue side because you can pick it together, I guess. So if you only pick Lucian or if you only pick Braum, then it's a chance of getting the pick stolen away.
That is true. The Ashe, I feel like, is still viable here for Gen.G, but they want a little bit more magic damage, and they're going to lock in this Kai'Sa, which can circumvent the front line here of KT Rolster if played well. And now it's turned into a triple threat composition where you have follow-up for the Sejuani with the Kai'Sa, lots of burst damage and the double 80 carry, and then you have poke for the objective itself with the Jace. Jace going to be struggling to get a lot of damage done into the Scion, depending on how those fights shake out, though. As a Nico to be hovered here for Peter. It's been one of his favorites this year. I think he's gone to a lot in the past. The question is, what is he going to play with this? The Kalista is long gone since the first banning phase.
Yeah.
Nico Israel is definitely not a common pairing, but I do think it can work out well.
Kai'Sa Nico is pretty good, so maybe they just wanted to take it away.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking, because, Kai'Sa is known to be a bit of an answer to the Ezreal, especially in a draft like this, but taking the Nico away is interesting. But Nico Ezreal is not the same kind of power level as like Ezreal Karma in terms of pushing, but it's still decent. And Duro's going to go for another set of engage here, because Sejuani alone, I think, isn't good enough, which means that the Nico is going to be good into what you expected to be that final melee support to come through. And the only other one he could have gone for would have been Leona. The same rules apply. So I think the comp, I kind of feel pretty good about KT Rolsters here. Like, we always have to consider the nameplates when we look at these two teams. And Jovi's love for Corki for all time, even pre-rework Corki, where he was just building Ludens and doing poke boom boom damage. He's just got such strong mastery of this champion, and he's playing it more than anybody else. You know, he's playing it in these spots, and you have to trust that when he hits that 2-item spike, fireworks are coming. He is just so good at this champion, and I feel like the execution burden for KT here is lower than their Game 1 draft, but it's still pretty high to play this Ezreal Sion composition. If there's anything I'll trust Peter on, though, this season, it's his Nico. He's had so many good Pop Blossoms, and I do feel like maybe he's going to be the X factor here that could bring this to 3 games. I won't predict it. I'm still feeling like it's going to be that one-sided Gen.G 2-0, but maybe this draft gets it done. They got Trundle into Sejuani. They got a great side lane comp. They have Sion into Jace to block that poke. They have Peter's best engaged champion. If they can't get it done with this, they weren't going to get it done.
The one issue I have is I think it's going to take a while to get online. We'll see if Gen.G gives them that time of day, as they didn't do that in Game 1. But here is game number 2.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
Alrighty. Game number 2. KT, what have you got? We know what Gen.G has. And I like how Dion was trying to like give the angle to Wadid to be like, take all those, you know, titles away. What do KT have? And then, you know, Wadid talked about, you know, taking the Drakes, which is valid, but also it doesn't really address the angles that maybe KT might have over Gen.G, because I don't really feel like there are a lot of them.
Yeah, Degon was
but
like,
we're still waiting.
LCK, remove the facts. I'm like, well, I don't know if that's necessarily our slogan, but...
Isn't it like where legends are born or something? It's a good one.
Yeah, no, it's not remove the facts.
Yeah.
For one legacy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one, too.
It's solid.
We're invading here, KT.
Canyon has Unsealed Spellbook also, which is not going to be impactful at this moment, but I just wanted to mention it. And Canyon is not going to be getting his first blue buff. Be heading over to the red buff. And that's a nice start. Good little level 1 here for the side of KT. Already getting value out of the Trundle pick. Although that's really just about his ultimate. This is the main reason we talk about this being a counter matchup. But still can be strong at level 1 in a lot of different jungle matchups, including this one. And with the Ezreal Nico there, Canyon just needs to leave instantly. And so we'll see if Cuz can get the 3 buff going here. We'll have to cross back across to his blue if he wants to do that. It will be seen on this ward on Raptors. And Canyon will be seen on this ward here as well. But Jovi has Prio. So punishing this Sejuani is going to be a little bit tricky, and in fact, I'd say probably not possible. But getting this blue buff alone is not getting, it's not making it even. Like, if he wants to stay around, then it's going to get a little bit tougher.
Doesn't have a smite, not going to use it, because he doesn't have it. So he's just going to take the blue and go over to the Raptors and go back to being behind, but that's fine. He's playing Sejuani. He's just going to farm it out, and he's going to press his ult button sometimes.
Yeah.
The bot lane push is one thing that KT do have.
Yeah, this Nico pick working out really well into the melee Nautilus in this case. And even though Sedge is Sedge at the moment,
yeah,
still going to be pretty relevant for some skirmishes coming up here relatively soon. But I like how KT have played this early game. Bottom side prio, working a treat for them. Canyon makes the exact right decision. And also seeing the Trundle on the Raptors makes him know, like, yeah, I was pretty sure there's no way he could get back in time. Jovi has prio, but he also was able to see all of that, make the right decision. And now wants to potentially go for that top scuttle, as we're having early teleports here in mid. And it's just going to be a scuttle trade.
Yeah.
Peter, I was just going to say, Peter is, again, he's really good on this pick. This is why I think we keep zooming in on this, because they have that bottom side prio. And it's not just his R buttons that he's good at, but his laning has been pretty strong as well.
It's a very dominant pick. Duro knew what he was getting himself into. It was just, you know, we need some more engage. I'm just going to pick Nautilus. It's fine.
Because otherwise, how do you catch Ezreal with just Sejuani? Like, it's never going to happen. You know, maybe a Shock Blast hits him and you just blow him up, but with a Scion on the other side, you're never going to Glacial Prison the Ezreal.
You are going to Valkyrie into Rise as Chovy. Very aggressive trading pattern. I feel like most Corkies, you know, they'll harass with autos and they'll use their Gatling gun, you know, but Chovy, he knows when Rise is very weak. I think his understanding of every champion is what helps him so much, and he's like, well, there's no wave here, you're not going to be bouncing stuff off of me, so I'm just going to attack you, and there's not really much you can do.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it's just very nice to see. We do have Ruler up on the top side.
Remember,
this does not follow the WODs order of objectives, by the way.
No, it does not. However, if Keen can get Prio here and Peter goes topside, then they could try for that 5-minute Dragon, especially the Prio that Chovy has. Or he pushes BDD out of the lane, went for the aggressive Valkyrie, and they both had just traded teleport. So if he ends up getting a nice trade, then feels amazing, right, as the Corki in this scenario. Just the Jace laning there on bottom side. But it's not going to work out that way, as Peter does decide to go bottom to rejoin Duckdom. So there's not going to be enough Dragon Prio here. It was a Chemtech Dragon, so that might have factored into Gen.G's decision a little bit. Really love how Cuz is pathing right now, though. He's able to suss out where Canyon is, and we'll be able to defend his top laner, as well as take this Grump. Yeah, I did see this tweet earlier at me about the Grub Group and the Dragon Division.
The Baron Bunch and the Otacon Assembly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good tweet. Thank you for that one.
Just got G-Sun putting up tweets
Yeah.
during the downtime, you know. A little bit of a Gen.G and wait it out.
At the moment,
Yeah.
I do see a cull in a Kai'Sa's inventory, you know, and Kai'Sa can be a bit of a struggle. Sure, based on what Wadid was talking about yesterday, he's probably not super happy with the Kai'Sa lock. And it was a bit strange, the way it all eventuated. Remember in Game 1, they banned the Kai'Sa and the Ezreal?
What are we doing here? We're just hanging out in the alcove.
Yeah, he's just alcoving. He's alcove gaming. Weren't you one of the people to coin that term?
I think that was Atlas.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you were like working with him.
I was there.
You were popularizing it with him. Like you were.
I did work around that time.
Yeah, you were in the Alcove Gaming campaign.
Thank you for giving me credit.
Yeah, no, I mean,
I was involved.
yeah. So I thought it was just pretty clear what he was doing up there.
Yeah.
Perfect was trying to interact with him because he's not as familiar with Alcove Gaming and how you just don't mess with people who are Alcove
Yeah, he's a
gaming.
newer player, so you know.
Yeah.
He's not a rookie though.
No.
We've
been
stripped him
there.
of that title.
Yeah, been there, done that. Nor is Duro. Even
You
though
don't think
he is.
so? He's definitely still called a rookie.
Well, I mean, we call him a rookie, but it's not his
He's
debut
not a rookie.
season.
Yeah. But there are some out there that still call him a rookie.
Some who call him a rook.
No,
that's-
I don't think they
You
call him
think
a rookie.
Chovy doesn't count minions? Chovy.
Chovy!
You think Chovy is going to be like, well, that seems pretty normal.
The one lane you go to is Chovy's lane. No.
Look at him talking, man. He's like telling Kenny, he's like, man, they thought they could fool me. I know exactly how many minions I miss every single game.
Yeah.
It's in the single digits. There are no bonus minions, Canyon. Now that was a little chunk of damage on the ruler,
That
but
wasn't very nice.
I don't think that they can do anything up here because their jungler is behind the curve on the rotation, and that's going to be a cleared ward.
Yeah, just clearing the ward, just backing away.
Cuz does have Subjugate available, and I don't think they want to force this fight, but the timing window there is not good enough for Canyon to punish, as you say. And it's a group for grubs here for KT this time.
We do see Gen.G, they want to fight over this. They don't want to give all 3 away. I almost said all 6. What year am I living in? Trying to come in here. Some hook onto Duckdoll, but now the turn immediately on the Duro, who's going to flash away. But now we got Cuz in a bit of trouble. In goes Ruler, going to take him down. First blood did go over to KT, but now fight here front to back is looking good for Gen.G. Bit of a stun goes down on the Canyon, but he's super tanky. Perfect test to get out. There's now the Realm Warp. We see BDD thinking about getting out here, but follow up. Duckdom going to go away. Continues to kite as Canyon does get the Gromp, but he is going to go down. And now we have the Root going in on Akeen. One more auto gets it done, and Duckdom picks up a double. A big fight here for KT.
Huge win for KT, and they end up getting so much out of this, despite the fact that it looked good for Gen.G in the initial outset. And Perfect, I was starting to get frustrated with him in that one because he was running away to live, but I was like, man, you're Scion, go back in there and die and go zombie, because he was in melee range, but he still survived, came in to do that final Q, which really led to that first pick, and Duckdom picking up the kills. As the fight is super broken up and messy here, Chovy trying to layer some damage through Duckdom flashes and survives the initial engage here. Duro's the first to fall, but Cuz goes insanely low despite the subjugate is still going to go down. But Duckdom, they're never able to fully lock him down. He takes a ton of damage in a moment, but just the fact that Perfect escapes here was the part I was talking about where I'm like, oh man, Zombie Scion would have maybe helped you escape, but there's just not enough damage here for Gen.G, and they don't have vision through this choke point. And then Duckdom, with this knock up here, gets the empowered W, or the W to empower the Q and the auto. Keen gets taken out here at the very end, and the Ruler has to flash, so you even get a flash on the Kaisa out of that. Did have to cleanse as well moments before, so it's about as good as it could have gone there for KT, honestly. And you know, looking back at the fight a second time, I think Perfect was definitely well within his rights to want to flash away there, survive, and then come back in. Peter layering a lot of damage in himself, too. Gen.G once again find themselves behind in the early game.
Yeah, it's not their first time, as you mentioned. It is going to be their first time to be this far behind, I feel, in this series. They still do have, you know, triple threat and double 80 carry, so there's a good amount of scaling. But now you've got this Ezreal who's 2-0, who is going to be hitting that spike very quickly. The Ryze didn't get any kills, but BDD able to scale up pretty freely is going to be feeling great. Even Perfect, like if you're a Scion that's able to stabilize and never really get behind, like we've seen Scions take over games in this meta as well. Now, Cannon's on a ward, and the sneaky Trundle in the brush is going to help with this one, but it's still going to be a kill. Going 1-for-1 here. Chovy trying to get away from that Trundle, just trying to clear the wave, actually. As Peter comes in, and it's a double over to Cuz.
All right, the value of the Trundle into the Sejuani, we are already significantly starting to see the hurt. We are starting to see the value. As at least Canyon has teleport now. So he's actually going to TP over here. And they're going to be able to start up this dragon. BDD just TP'd back to mid, but could come over here if they want to fight for this. There's more Gen.G than there is KT in this area, as Ruler had prio bottom side. BDD want to Realm Warp for this? Oh, this is messy.
Yeah, it's getting crazy. Peter is very caught here. He is going to get it off, but immediately dies. BDD and Cuz. The drink does go to Cuz, and now Canyon's going to go down. And so Peter just keeps them around, has to pay with his life.
They're listening to Wadid. And it's
listening to Wadid.
It's it's Cuz, you know, he's being the Drake Slayer, the Dragon Slayer he's known to be. He says, I'm going to come in and BDD, you best Realm Warp me in here. All right, so it all starts off moments ago here with Canyon looking for the Hex Flash engage when he was on a ward. Kind of disastrous. Chovy trades one back, but Cuz is able to get the double here. Does finally get that extra chomp slow and take Chovy out with some help from Peter. And then on the Dragon.
깔끔하게 죽음을 받아들이고 풀이라도 아낄 걸.
That was not as clean as he wanted it to be.
He wanted to save his flash. Yeah.
This moment here, Peter is able to get the ult off, and that's what matters most in this moment. Also, of course, Cuz secures Smite here, and then that's just the objective. Like, that's just the win. They get a kill on top of it. This Trundle has a Triforce, is already, you know, sitting on obviously magical footwear, zooming around the map here, looking for big plays, and has been impactful already. But when you have this Triforce versus what the Sejuani is sitting on, you're already winning into the Sejuani, but the Sejuani can't really match your rotations and your potential ganks now anymore. You're just going to outpace her, and it's really hard for Canyon to play the game. Look at how far behind he's fallen on farm already. we had the really cool level 1 play, but Cuz has just held on to that lead and snowballed it. And I feel like Canyon's been playing a little bit disrespectfully at times in this one. I mean, I think the unsealed spellbook is cool and all, and the teleport to the dragon was a nice sneak attempt, but they get caught out again. And now Duro, he's going to need some help if he's going to survive this.
They do have the whole team coming over here, outside of Keen, of course, who TP'd top. So, nice call off here from KT. Could have certainly gone bad if they actually dove that one. Perfect beginning to try to proxy. And, you know, he's Sion. He should be able to do this a little bit. Not going to overcommit, though. A nice amount of pressure. But yeah, it does feel like KT, this is, if they're going to win a game against Gen.G, it's going to be this one. I mean, you're Ezreal super fed. Everything's going well in this early game. Even got a kill onto Chovy's Corki. You were able to slow him down a little bit.
Yeah, Flash is gone for Chovy. And Canyon is nearby here. Perfect might get baited.
He's desperate for anything. Like, if he gets a kill, he's right back in this game. But currently, down 2 levels.
Yeah.
You know, he's kind of just not really able to do anything.
Yeah, I just don't think KT are that, you know, that's weak-minded. Like, they're not going to fall for this. Like, Keen walking into the Sion trade, he's not going to be like, oh, I better go in on this. And now you can see that Chovy is, you know, he's still up. He does have that kill up in gold over the Rise, but doesn't have control of the side like he would like to at this point in time. Rise already has the Rod of Ages, and it's going to be very difficult to kill with this build. Seraph's to come in second means that he's just super tanky and also has a shield. Even with the nerfs to Roa, it's very strong, very powerful build, especially with the lead that KT have right now. When you can make those macro plays. Hextech Soul again, by the way, which is kind of insane. And
getting a lot nowadays. We had a couple yesterday. 2 or 3, actually.
Grouping for Herald now. Gen.G with Chovy having teleport advantage. I think KT should be very slow with how they play this.
Yeah, looks like they want to do something here on the right, but Duro's in a lot of trouble. I mean, he's just dead. He gets pillared. He's going to flash away still, but he still dies. As now he gets engaged on in. It's only going to hit the Sejuani, though. Bit of damage goes in, and Peter does go down. Chovy's still doing a lot of damage here on the left side, but Canyon extremely low. As Realm Warp now, and Ruler doesn't have anywhere to go as he goes in to try to kill BDD, and it doesn't quite work out. Chovy also looks like he's going to go down. KT are taking this fight in a big way. As Gen.G, they did not respect him on the Grubs. They did not respect them on the Rift Heralds. And they will pay the price as KT take a huge fight again.
Surely KT win this game from here, Valdez. There is no way they're going to let this one go. Playing from ahead, confidently into this fight. And Duro is the one who's pillared to start things off. Looks like maybe for a second he's gotten out, but he's blown up. And then the follow-up is just not there for Gen.G. Really nice ult from Canyon, all things considered, to try to turn that one around. But BD super confident on the Realm Warp chase. Rua looks for the denial, but ends up going down himself. So it starts off with Duro getting pillared, right? Look at how the follow-up isn't perfect. He denies anyone from following up as everyone's focusing on the Nautilus, so there's no risk in this. Now, Peter does end up getting taken out here. The ult is really nice from Canyon on the turn, but so much damage is done. BDD flashes, gets the root onto Canyon. Ruler is trying to take him out here, but Cuz is doing so much damage. BDD does take the Realm Warp, get the kill there. Duckdown plays respectfully here, barriers, and Chovy gets taken out by Perfect there in the end. And then Keen as well here. Yep. Pillared again. And Cuz is just, like, when you get ahead on Trundle, everyone who's played Trundle, even in the top lane, knows that when you're really winning and when you're really, really far ahead, you just kind of run at people and throw pillars up. Yeah. And whoever you interact with just gets clubbed to death over and over and over again, and you just take over the game.
It's very fun.
You're already playing into a Sejuani, so you get to be even stronger with your lead when you come to team fights.
Yeah, it's very oppressive, and I think especially in this matchup, like, I remember there was a meta where Trundle wasn't being played, but Sejuani was very, she was being played like almost every game. We didn't have Fearless, and Chronicler was actually like, we should be seeing more Trundle. And I was like, no, because Trundle wasn't very good at the time. And even now, it doesn't feel like Trundle is amazing, but especially in this matchup and in the matchup against Xin Zhao, he is very strong, especially from ahead. And it just felt like Kenny was like, you know what, I don't care about all that. Like, I'm just going to win anyway. And any team can beat any other team in the LCK.
Yeah, but I mean, I really think when we talked about drafts, I liked KT's draft a lot, right? They had all the tools, but I was like, they're going to have to play super well. It's Gen.G. The draft is hard. It's, in my opinion, still the better draft, but it's hard. But they've made all these miracles happen. Like, they played the draft incredibly well. These fights were so close. They were so clutch from KT. And they caught Gen.G off guard, I think, with how well they've been playing. They've been punishing Duro, which we knew was a possibility, playing this Nautilus into the Nico, and the lack of engage made it pretty necessary, I think, to draft the Nautilus, but this means you had a draft issue earlier on. As a Sejuani into the Trundle was blind, of course, was also surprising to us, but I didn't know the game was going to get this opened up this early. Gen.G are still playing a good macro game, even though it's 10 kills to 4 here. They are
just
only...
missed a cannon.
Yeah.
He's tilted.
they,
he's not enjoying this very much.
They are still, you know, only 3,000 gold down. It's significant. Again, and Gen.G isn't normally this far down, but I feel like they're making the right moves. Chovy's able to get half of this turret and force a teleport out of Perfect.
Yeah.
They should be able to defend this inner, so, I mean, it's not over till it's over.
It's a good point because Gen.G has come back in games like this, and it really often comes from teams making mistakes from ahead, and Gen.G will punish you. It doesn't matter if they're very far up behind or just a little bit behind or whatever. You have to be extremely clean if you're KT. This game is not over, as you mentioned. As now, gonna hop forward. Okay.
That was weird, the way that came out, but yeah, it was a pillar.
Huh, okay.
I thought Keen just hiccuped for a second.
He is Ezreal, but there is a Nautilus here as well, as waiting for it. The sun comes in with the permafrost, and Duro gets his revenge.
I mean, these are the kind of moments you're talking about. The punish is there. Rotation up from Perfect for just a moment means, guess what? He's not defending this turret, and Chovy's going to take that. The Scion is not going to be able to prevent this. Even with just one grub, this turret is just gone. Chovy should be able to get out of here, no problem.
Yeah.
Good Valkyrie there. Easy peasy, and it's like, okay, suddenly a kill here, suddenly a turret there. 3,000 gold lead? That's what I was saying a second ago. Oh, it's 1,200 now.
Yeah.
This is the Gen.G angle, you know? Any mistake is punishable. And
like
all
how,
the lead is in the Trundle.
Yeah, I do like how KT were at least looking for angles, you know? Because there are some teams they get ahead against Gen.G and they're like, oh crap, okay, we can't mess this up. We can't do anything crazy. But you really need to keep your foot on the gas pedal. And outside of making mistakes, you got to continue making proactive plays that get you in the lead. So they look for that play onto Keen.
Canyon does have ult. They aren't sure.
You never know.
찍었어.
I mean, Duro's just like, got him.
진짜.
So you got
Mad, he's got the assist, yeah.
제발.
777 gold to another.
Ruler's actually angry because this is the second time that Duro got a kill. And it's a shutdown. It was 777 gold. And, you know, it's actually a reason to get angry about because Kaisen needs these items. Like, she needs at least 3. You'd like 4. And 777 gold is going to be really big for getting that 3rd item.
Yeah, and if a Kaisa got it, would have been jackpot. But supports don't play slots.
They're not into gambling.
No.
It's not a thing that supports.
That's why he didn't.
They're pretty base like
that. He didn't
that.
gamble. He went for the kill secure. He was like, I'm not taking a chance on this. I'm sorry, really.
Yeah.
But it was his ult and his play that caught Duckdom in the first place. And
yeah, kill is still good, but
yeah,
could have been even better.
It's significant. You know, getting that allows the play at bottom side where Chovy gets the turret.
Yeah, I think what you said before, though, about all this gold being on the Trundle is really big.
It's scary, you know? It's all your eggs in one troll with the club basket. It doesn't feel very safe.
He's going to be unkillable.
He's unkillable.
But he's Trundle.
He runs at people, he clubs them to death, like I said earlier. But that works until about like 25 minutes plus, and then you just kind of get kited, and you know Trundle can't carry the game by himself.
So the Rift Herald is here. Duro is going to go in for the engage. Ult's actually on it because they're throwing everything into this Trundle that is so tanky. The Nico not going to hit anyone. As Gen.G desperate for this Drake. They have to deny the soul right here, right now, as they do get the kill on the Scion, but Chovy is so low as he tries to get the kill on BDD. It's not going to happen. Ruler is going man mode, and it is a steal from Duckdom to get that one. as they do take it down. Cuz not able to get the smite, and that might be where this game goes awry for KT as Gen.G, they pick up the fight. Ruler with the triple in this one.
Frankly, it's kind of a disastrous fight for KT. I mean, Peter's ult missing was the moment for me where I was like, uh-oh, here we go. I think this is the moment. Because Peter has an ult that hits absolutely nothing when everyone on Gen.G is so close to the ult. I mean, look at the setup here for KT. It's brilliant, and it's the Trundle who gets hit. It's the Trundle who's engaged on, knocked up. Root's on the Sejuani, and then KT from here just completely whiffed everything. Like, Peter could have gone in, looked for, I mean, he had flash. He could have ulted the whole team, but he chokes the moment. BDD ends up winning the fight against Chovy on the side, but that alone isn't enough here, as Duckdom has to carry after the Dragon gets stolen here. He needs to be the one who can actually clean up this fight, but misses a few abilities here. Duro goes down first, and then Ruler ends up winning out as he just hides behind Canyon. That's the end of the Ezreal. Not to mention, of course, the reason why Duckdom went in like that was because he knew that the Jace was on the other side. There was no good angle. There was no escape, as not again.
All right. Resolved.
So I guess we don't know what the claim was, but either way.
It was just a Peter Parker pause.
With great pauses come great responsibility.
Yeah. He knew that, so he didn't do it lightly, but it was resolved, so. Peter Parker pause is now Peter Parker unpaused.
Yeah, it's not in the rulebook that if your spider senses aren't tingling, you get to pause. We do have a potential Otacon take here, as Duckdom's going to clear the mid wave and try to rush over. Keen does have TP, but he's actually just going to get the free rotation over, which should be able to clear the wave and join. As if KT start this first, I'm not sold.
No, if they start this first. Oh, Duckdom, please.
He's fine. Didn't even need to flash.
Not like this, okay? This has the potential to be a very good game.
Yeah, no,
Please don't just get hooked by Nautilus as Ezreal.
Otacon's trying to clear vision in that tri-brush, but Canyon already did, so don't worry about it, Otacon. Just go back to your pit and chill. We'll call you when it's time. I mean, Baron has also spawned here. 2 big objectives on the top side of the map. KT are sitting on a 2.5 item Ezreal. A Ryze that doesn't have death cap. Trying to rush this down, I just don't think is reasonable, because Peter doesn't have flash. He has his dash cannon, of course, but without flash, I think trying to turn is just super risky.
Somebody's got to check this brush. It will be perfect.
Good vision control. They can try to force Gen.G to take a bad fight through this vision control, but Gen.G, because Keen didn't have to teleport, is just putting him in the side lane, letting Ruler clear. They're like, yeah, you guys can't do this fast enough, so if you try, we'll TP in. Ruler going to rotate over. And KT are practically flipping the game on this one. Let's see, TP.
It's getting pretty close. I mean, Canyon trying to get in, gonna throw an ult, and now the knockup comes in on a Canyon. He's just dead. They don't have a jungler, although Perfect is getting blown to smithereens as well. But yeah, the Otacon goes over to KT, and KT will accept that 100% of the time.
Mission accomplished. That was very, very scary, though. But they had the choke point controlled. They were able to get the teleport out of Keen, and it was going to take some time. And with the Trundle and Subjugate, if you just shot call correctly, target select the Sejuani after being subjugated and blow her up, as long as you don't put the Otacon in smite range before that happens, you can kind of checkmate these, especially because Keen has to teleport into a safe angle here. He's not able to offer damage quickly enough, and they just turn on the Canyon, ult him, and delete him. And Ruler looks for the steal on the edge. They kill Perfect here as he just holds the line, preventing these to evolve. Even the pillar comes out to allow them to realm warp away. And it's a clean heist here from KT. Again, fairly risky. I think we'll all agree, but they do end up succeeding in the end. 3 items now for the Ryze. Death cap is ready, but...
Okay.
3-item Ryze might get jumped on.
Yeah, will the follow-up coming on time is really the only question. BDD does have flash. As now we get another engage here on a Perfect. We got a blast cone away as Canyon in a lot of trouble again. He's going to go down. Keen here as well with him. And they go way too deep this time around. Still, the Ruler and Chovy are safe. We do have Perfect going in, trying to create space, but he has to flash away. As in goes Ruler into the back line. There's no stopping this guy. He goes golden, but now he's got to flash away. And while a pillar will stop him, I guess. As BDD gets back here with his CP. And now Gen.G are on the run. Realm Warp coming in. Looks like they will go for it. No game will be taken by Chovy. As they take down Chovy, and they will get this Baron.
This Sejuani pick just is not working for Canyon in this game. 0, 5, and 10. He's 10 out of 11 of their kills, but he has been caught and punished in some of KT's biggest moments. First they get Otacon, then they get Canyon again, and they get the Baron. As it looked for a moment like maybe Gen.G could turn this fight around. Because remember, it starts off with Canyon catching, air quotes, BDD, but BDD just kind of walks it off here as the rest of the team rotates up. Canyon loses a third of his health bar and flashes in and instantly dies. This keeps happening because his resistances keep getting deleted. And then Cuz goes in here on the front line and ends up taking a ton of damage. And this play from Ruler here, as Perfect goes incredibly low, is super bold, deletes him, but now he's on the wrong side of the fight. Tries to go golden here so that Chovy can help him clean up, but it's the zombie Scion that peels and gives them enough space. And unfortunately for Gen.G, there is no escape when Realm Warp is on the cards here. And maybe Duro could get out with a nice little dredge line, but Chovy will not be so lucky. And surely KT win from here, right?
Yeah, I mean, they have X6 Soul, they have Baron. They're going to get a ton of standing gold here on the map. Not to mention that they are already ahead. So you got to like their chances. A little engage comes in here from Canyon, wants to get something going because just presses Azar, or he didn't even, finally goes for it. Huge engage here from Peter, and now Ruler is just going to get caught up in this one. Here comes Perfect into that back line and just eliminates Keen. Even gets the kill on the Ruler, and it's only Chovy left standing. KT can, in fact, win these.
They can, in fact,
send it to game 3.
Win these. They can, in fact, bring us to the distance here today. And maybe the prophecy was true, Valdez. Maybe this is the only team that can stop Gen.G's win streaks. Their perfect season still on the line. KT are going to have to win one more game, and maybe Peter didn't hit his Pop Blossom on the Dragon fight. Maybe he completely whiffed that one, but he didn't whiff the one there at the end that finishes the game.